Well, FC Barcelona have lost to Athletic Club 4-2 with we saw Lamine Yamal scoring, we saw Lewandowski scoring, but it seemed like Barcelona could not cope with the intensity from Athletic Club. They were truly able to capitalize off of Barcelona's, I would say, incompetence in the last 15 to 20 minutes in the extra time. Barcelona simply just looked too tired. They seemed worn out. They couldn't connect any passes. And I know that many are going to be asking, who should we blame for tonight's match? And to be honest, I don't really want to blame anybody. Like at all. I don't want to blame Xavi Hernandez. I don't want to blame the players. I don't want to blame the grass. I don't want to blame just nothing. I just feel like this is what's supposed to happen because Athletic Club were the better team. They were able to really play on their strengths and Barcelona didn't. There are some pros and cons, believe me. There are some pros in this game that I would like to talk about. Because, before we got into the second half, from the original 90 minutes, I'm like, oh yeah, there are some things that I really do like from this Barcelona team. And it does inspire me, right, to think that, Barcelona will be great eventually in the future, but just not now. First of all, I want to say that if you guys are here and you guys are Barcelona fans, I want to thank you guys for always trying to join in to these videos and watch my videos. I want to thank the support that I do get from you guys. And I also do want to say that, it is really hard to be a Barcelona fan in today's times, and especially in the past 3 to 4 years, because we are in this transition. We are very early in this project, and unfortunately, many people are going to be attacking us, right? Even our own fan base we're going to be attacking each other. We're going to be attacking Barcelona, attacking the coach during this early phase of this project. I know that many people do have high expectations, and that Barcelona should be doing much better, that Barcelona should be winning the Champions League, La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and all of this. But at the end of the day, the type of squad that we have right now is not the ideal squad that Xavi has been asking for. We know that there has been some hurdles, some obstacles that we had to go through as a team financially to really build the team that Xavi Hernandez wants. And, I remember there was this report that came out before this match that stated Deco was going to have to work around signing very young, promising players to join this squad because simply Barcelona cannot find the finances to bring in the players that we need. And that is going to be our game plan, and that is going to be our reality. We have to bet on youngsters from South America and then hope for them to eventually become world class. We can't be like, let's pick on that world class player, let's pick on that world class player, unless that world-class player is a free agent. That's the only way we can work around, signing the players that we want. But besides that, the majority of the time, Barcelona are not going to be able to find the players that they need because our finances are just so strict. We can't do anything. We can't move. We have to depend on young players. And that is why tonight, in this game against Athletic Club, Barcelona had to depend on young players. And that is why I do say that don't be so angry with this result, because we also have to have some context on the type of team that was assembled tonight. We saw Cubarsí, we saw Hector Fort, we saw Lamine Yamal, we saw many young players tonight that overperformed. Now, I know a lot of people will say that Lamine Yamal missed 2 very big chances. And yes, it's true. Lamine Yamal missed 2 extremely big chances that could have led to a 4-2 before the 90 minutes, before we got into the extra time. We could have neglected the extra time phase if only Lamine Yamal scored that last goal, but he didn't. He was one of the goal scorers, and he scored a golazo. It reminded all of us of Lionel Messi. Yes, I'm gonna say it. It reminded us of Lionel Messi. But many people are gonna be saying, "Oh, because he scored 1 goal but missed 2, that's a bad player," right? So we have to remember that he is a young player. He is a player that is going to be making mistakes. He is 16 years old, and he was in a knockout match where he had to perform. He had to score goals, and there was a lot of pressure on that youngster. He's 16, and he is going to be seeing a lot of punishment from the fan base. He will. That is just the reality. That is the reality that these players are in, and what we're going to be seeing. Many people are going to be saying, Lamine Yamal is trash. You did not take advantage of the opportunities, and because of him, he is the reason why Barcelona is out. That is what Lamine Yamal is going to have to work around for these next 20 days. They're going to be saying it's because of him. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to be one of those people. Yes, it's very unfortunate. Yes, I was angry when I saw Lamine Yamal missed those 2 chances that could have easily been put in the way. But at the end of the day, he is young. I do think that this is his villain origin story. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but that basically means there's a specific moment in your life that will change you forever, right? Like you're like this person here, and then there comes a block, and that block, or like that fire, and that fire fires you into a different direction in your life. You change into a completely different character. You become the man that you were destined to be. I think that Lamine Yamal has just entered the villain or like origin story, this phase. And I think that in these next 2 or 3 years, we're definitely going to be seeing Lamine Yamal change as a character, change as a person, improve as a person, improve as a player also. It is a very tense moment for Lamine, and I'm going to be here to protect him. I'm going to be here to support him no matter what, because I think that we have a gem in our hands. We have a very talented player. I remember Messi, I remember Xavi, I remember Iniesta, I remember Cristiano Ronaldo, El Fenomeno, Ronaldinho. I remember all of these players. They had a phase in their career where they underperformed and they missed a certain chance that could have led towards their team winning. I remember. I can't really recall those exact moments, but there were those times where they had to go through that, and they pushed through that through the help of the sporting staff and everything in the fan base. So the same thing has to be said with Lamine Yamal. It just has to. Now I know, but again, it's a different game because we live in the age of social media, and he is going to be receiving those type of threats. So we'll see. I still want to give props to Lamine Yamal though, because he played phenomenal in my opinion. I would also like to say that Cubarsí and Hector Fort are the future of Barcelona's defense. I think the fact that Xavi had to rely on those two youngsters who are just 17, 18 years old, maybe even younger. Again, it should tell you guys the type of team that Xavi Hernandez has. He does not have that luxury of bringing in world class center backs on top of world class center backs or left backs or right backs. Hector Fort is a right back, and he was playing on the left back position, and he played phenomenal, taking care of Iñaki Williams so well. Now, I know that he scored, but Hector Fort can only do so much. He can only do so much. He really gave it his all in this match. And this is, for me, this is like for him to take another step forward. He can learn from this, take these experiences, and get even better. I think that Hector Fort should be a squad player in the first team for sure, no matter what. He should no longer be in Barcelona Athletic. He has graduated, in my opinion, because he was very composed, he was very defensive, he was very responsible, and the only thing that led him to making that, not mistakes, but that led him with less intensity, it was because I think that he injured his hamstring. He was going through a really serious injury, but he had to continue to play because Xavi Hernandez had no more substitutions. Hector Fort was forced to play with an injury during the last 10 to 15 minutes, and Sergi Roberto was demanded to cover for his spot, and that is why Athletic Club were like, okay, we have this. We have one injured player at Barcelona that cannot play anymore. We're basically playing against 10 men, and these players also look tired. They look worn out. They look mentally drained. We can take advantage of this. And so another player that I also want to talk about is, like I said, Cubarsí. Cubarsí was one hell of a center back. At 16 years old, come on. Dude, like I can't be mad. I mean, like, I'm frustrated with the result. I think I wanted Barcelona to go to the quarterfinals, but this is a team that will do so well. They just need more time because we have such a young core group of players: Lamine Yamal, Cubarsí, Hector Fort, and so forth. It was a bad game from Frankie de Jong also. Frankie de Jong had a lot of misplaced passes. His role did change through the match. Frankie de Jong was playing with Gundogan as the double pivot, always making themselves as options for the goalkeeper and the defensive line. But as the game progressed, and when Pedri left, because Pedri could no longer play the full, I think it was during extra time, and we saw Frankie de Jong play the more advanced role. Xavi said, okay, I'm going to place in Sergio Roberto for Pedri because Pedri looks tired, and then I'm going to place Frankie de Jong as the central attacking midfielder. And he was playing okay. It's just that he made a lot of misplaced passes. I think that On defensive transitions, he was doing good, but we did not see the Frankie that we all knew. The one that was very reliable, the one that was always able to retain the ball. Sometimes he did lose the ball, and I'm like, this is not the Frankie that we know. And so for those of you guys who are also have been asking, like, why would Xavi Hernandez take away Pedri in such a very important game? That's because Pedri can only play so much. Like, we're talking about a player that was constantly getting injured every 3 to 4 months. Of course, Xavi Hernandez should be taking some precautionary measures to make sure that Pedri does not get worn out. This is exactly what happened 2 years ago. We played Pedri through extra time, and then in the next game, we played him for a full 90 minutes, and then another 90-minute match, and then he went to international break to play with Spain. And so, of course, Xavi's going to be taking Pedri out. Why would you guys be angry? Why? So, and if you guys are also asking, like, okay, well, Kevin, Xavi made a mistake because he could have placed in Fermin Lopez. Fermin Lopez is a La Masia player, okay? And there's this rule in, I don't know if it applies in La Liga or if it applies for Barcelona or if it does apply for football in general. But there's this rule that Barcelona can only have 3 players total in terms of like La Masia players. Max. You can't have more than that. And that is why Fermin Lopez did not come in, because at that time we had Lamine Yamal, we had Hector Fort, and we had Kubarsi. Right? So I don't know if like if you reach a certain age or if you get registered into the first team. I'm assuming that if you get registered into the first team and you're no longer considered as a Barcelona Athletic player, that is what allows you to not be considered as a La Masia player. So, but that is why Fermin Lopez couldn't come in. And I felt like this was the game for Fermin Lopez because of his intensity, because of the way that he can find those key passes, what he brings in the middle of the pitch. We needed more energy in the middle of the pitch. We needed much more of that. Dude, I miss Xavi now that I think about it, because Xavi would have been such a key player for this, because if anything, our midfield was getting ran through during extra time, and I felt like Fermin Lopez was supposed to be in this game. Now I don't know if was he available. Let me see. Yeah, Fermin Lopez was available. So that's pretty much the answer, right? It's simply because you can only allow 3 La Masia players max. I'm surprised that Vitor Roque did not play. I don't know why. Obviously, Oriol Romeo was not gonna do anything in this game. There's no way. Joao Cancelo, I wanted him to come in, but I felt like maybe Xavi Hernandez was kind of hesitant because he just came back from injury. I wanted him to play, though. He could have been the perfect substitution for Hector Fort, who could not play. I don't know. Like, I think that we used like our full 5 subs, but still, dude, like, I felt like we could have. I don't know, man. Yeah, we could have used Joao Cancelo to go in for Hector Fort and not even use Marc Gui, right? We did not need to use that substitute. We could have just continued with the players that we had in our front 3 and just use Joao Cancelo there and then have him become a key player to make those key passes, because that is what he's known for as a fullback. Another thing that I do want to talk about, right? I'm kind of just like brainstorming here. This is not really like a very formatted video. It's just because I'm kind of like in shock, because I really did think that Barcelona were going to pull through and have this become a very magical night. It could have been, because we had Lamine Yamal score, Lewandowski scored a goal also. Barcelona looked very dominant in those 90 minutes, but it's just those 2 missed chances from Lamine Yamal could have really, if you put those away, it could have completed the story. But another thing that I do want to talk about is the fact that Barcelona as a collective, there is one clear problem that we have been seeing through the whole season, and that is that almost every opponent can score on us in the first minute or within the first minute of a certain half. That is how Athletic Club scored their first goal. They scored within 37 seconds. And I don't know if this has something to do with their like mentality, or they just seem confused, or they're not fully awake yet, and that they need to go through a shocker to actually wake up. But this needs to be fixed. And Xavi always looks pissed, because I feel like Xavi Hernandez has been saying this to them for the past like 2 or 3 months. He's probably saying, hey, look, this is a consistent problem. I don't know what you guys are doing, but why are we a team that always allows for the opposition to score on us first within the first 35 seconds? Are you guys confused? Do you guys not get awake enough? Do you guys need caffeine? Do you guys want Red Bull? Do you guys want C4? Do you guys want like what? Do you guys want cocaine? What do you guys want to wake up? Because that first 35 seconds to like 2 minutes, Barcelona look very mellow. They're like, okay, let's just pass it here, let's pass it there, and then they lose it. They're like, oh my god, what's going on? And then the ball goes this way and that way, and they're like, oh my god, like we're losing control of the match, and blah blah blah, whatever, and then boom, score, and you're like, oh, and then you wake up, and now you put yourself in a predicament where you have to climb on top of that 1-0 lead that the opposition have. So it's almost like if they're doing it on purpose just to make the game more interesting, more entertaining. Like, is this a joke? Right? It happens to the whole team. So Athletic Club scored like I think their third goal or second goal in the second half of extra time within the first like 30 seconds. So it happened twice in this match. I don't know what it is about Barcelona, but that definitely has to be fixed. I don't know the answer to it. I don't know how you fix it, but it has to do with like it has to be a focus. It is a focus thing. Focus. You have to focus. You're playing a knockout match, and these teams will punish you. I'm pretty sure that the next three teams that we face up against, I know that those three teams are very well aware of the type of mistakes Barcelona do, and they're preparing for that moment to say, let's just go all in, let's just take the ball away from them as fast as possible, make one long pass over there and score the goal. They usually like to commit those errors. Let's do this, right? No, we can't be that team. And so Barcelona is knocked out, right? So there is no going back. We're out of the Copa del Rey, and that leaves us with two competitions, which is the Champions League and La Liga. Now, Girona has just been knocked out by Mallorca, and I feel like the reason why Girona got knocked out is because their eyes are set on La Liga. They want to be La Liga champions. Barcelona now only have two competitions to fight for. They no longer have to put their focus and energy on the Copa del Rey. Their eyes should be on La Liga no matter what. I think that there is a battle here now officially in Spain, which is in the league. I think that Barcelona have to put everything that they can in this league competition to claim first place, because there is one team there that, I was going to say two, but I think that there is one team there that fully is convinced they can win La Liga, and that is Girona. It is Girona. And so I think that could be a positive for Barcelona, is that they can put less energy, less focus on three competitions and just coming down, narrow it down to two. And the first priority is La Liga. The Champions League, I will say second. I don't know how that tournament is going to turn out, but I think La Liga is our priority. We have to win La Liga now. There is no way that Barcelona should not win La Liga, because I feel like, right? Okay, I'm honestly a little convinced that Barcelona will not win the Champions League. If they go to the semifinals of the Champions League, great, but I don't see them winning. But I'm convinced, and I'm gonna say this, right? I never said this before, but if Barcelona end up second or third place in La Liga this season and we don't win the Champions League, right? I have a feeling that there's going to be like a 90% chance that Xavi does get sacked, because if you are knocked out from the Spanish Super Cup, knocked out from the Copa del Rey, and you don't prioritize or give a lot of focus to La Liga, right? If we see Barcelona giving out these ridiculous mistakes, not looking like they want to win La Liga, feeling very uninspired, and the only players that are competing are our youngsters, like Lamine Yamal, Barça, and Hector Fort, and maybe Fermin Lopez. If we see only like those players like really giving it their all, and we still end up like in second or third place, and we're like, what's going on? I have a feeling that Xavi Hernandez will get sacked. Like, this is where I'm gonna tell you guys, like, yes, okay, maybe Joan Laporta will let go of Xavi Hernandez, because now it is so mandatory. It is so mandatory for Barcelona to win La Liga. They have to. There is no such thing as, okay, if they end up in second place in La Liga, and if they get knocked out in the semifinals of the Champions League, that's okay. No, we have to win La Liga now. We have to. There is no sugarcoating any of this, because if they don't, Xavi Hernandez will be questioned heavily by the board, and they will be looking at other alternatives. You better bet that. Like, clip this moment here. Clip this. And I want you guys to remember what I'm saying here. If Xavi Hernandez and Barcelona end up in second or third place this season, and obviously if we don't make it far in the Champions League, Xavi Hernandez will be sacked. He will. Now, if Xavi wins La Liga and we end up in first place, maybe semifinals of the Champions League, that is progression, in my opinion. For me, that is progression. And I think that Xavi Hernandez will have continuity. But dude, anything less than first place, it's a wrap. It is a wrap, and it's gonna suck. I'll be sad. I'll be one sad person. So that is going to be wrapping up today's post-match review. I hated this game. I hate it. I hate it so much, because this could have easily been a fairy tale story and a game for Lamine Yamal to remember, a game for Barcelona to remember. But it went sideways. Athletic Club pressured us, and they had one great idea to tackle Barcelona, and they went away with that plan. They did not stay away from it. They're like, we believe in our idea. So that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.